Today, on Tales on the Couch, we do a quick dive into the heartbreaking and controversial story of athlete Oscar Pistorius and his girlfriend, Reeva Steenkamp. Known as the Blade Runner for his inspiring career as a Paralympic champion, Pistorius's life took a dark turn when he shot and killed Reeva on Valentine's Day, claiming he mistook her for an intruder. Welcome to Tales on the Couch. Hello, my wise listeners. Thanks for joining me today. I'm your host, Dr. Heather Wisdom. And before we begin, I have an announcement. I published my second book earlier this month, The Wisdom of Sex for the Neurodiverse and Disabled, and it's now available on Amazon. There's also links on my website for all my books and other podcasts. And thank you to everyone who has already purchased the book and to those who have subscribed and given me 5 stars for not only this podcast, but my other shows as well. The Wisdom of Sex and Whispers of the White House. It is a lot of work, but I do it for you, so thank you. Okay, well, with all that said, let's get on with today's show. Today's episode takes us to South Africa, where a love story turned tragic. We're talking about the case of Oscar Pistorius and Reeva Steenkamp, a story of love, ambition, and a tragedy that shocked the world. Oscar Pistorius was a Paralympic champion, a man celebrated for overcoming extraordinary odds. But on Valentine's Day, in 2013, his life and the life of his girlfriend, Reeva Steenkamp, were forever changed. He claimed it was a case of mistaken identity, a fatal misunderstanding. Others believe it was something darker. First, let's talk about Oscar. Oscar Pistorius was born in 1986 in Johannesburg, South Africa. At just 11 months old, both of his legs were amputated below the knee due to a congenital condition, but this didn't stop him. Pistorius rose to fame as a Paralympic sprinter, earning the nickname Blade Runner for his high-tech prosthetic limbs. He was a symbol of resilience and determination, representing not only athletes with disabilities, but the broader human spirit. By 2012, Pistorius became the first double-leg amputee to compete in the Olympics. He was a national hero, but fame, as we know, often comes with its own set of challenges. Pistorius was celebrated publicly, but privately, he was dealing with personal struggles, including anger issues and a reported fascination with firearms. Reeva Rebecca Steenkamp was born on August 19, 1983, in Cape Town, South Africa, and grew up in Port Elizabeth. She was the youngest of 3 siblings in a close-knit family. Her parents, June and Barry Steenkamp, described her as a loving and determined child who always brought light into their lives. Reeva excelled academically and earned a law degree from Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University. She had aspirations of becoming a legal advocate, particularly focused on issues like gender equality and domestic violence. After completing her law degree, Reeva shifted her focus to modeling and media. She quickly rose to prominence in South Africa as a successful model and TV personality. Her natural beauty, intelligence, and charisma made her a sought-after figure in campaigns and on-screen appearances. Reeva became the face of prominent brands and was featured in numerous high-profile advertisements. She also appeared on the South African reality TV show Tropica Island of Treasure, which aired shortly after her tragic death. Reeva began dating Oscar Pistorius in 2012. The couple was often seen at public events and seemed happy, but friends later described their relationship as complicated. Reeva was reportedly kind-hearted and accommodating, though some accounts suggested she felt overshadowed by Pistorius's intense personality. The tragedy occurred on February 14, 2013. In the early hours of Valentine's Day, Pistorius shot and killed Reeva in his Pretoria home. Pistorius claimed that he and Reeva went to bed around 10 p.m. on February 13, 2013. In the early hours of Valentine's Day, he woke up and heard what he thought was the sound of an intruder in the bathroom. In his words, South Africa's high crime rates and past home invasions had left him feeling vulnerable and on edge. He stated that he acted out of fear, believing that his life and Reeva's were in danger. He said he grabbed his 9mm pistol, which he kept under the bed for protection, and moved toward the bathroom. Without putting on his prosthetic legs, he approached the bathroom on his stumps, feeling particularly vulnerable. According to Pistorius, he shouted at the perceived intruder to leave his house. When he heard further noises from behind the locked bathroom door, he fired 4 shots through it, believing the intruder was inside. After firing the shots, Pistorius stated that he returned to the bedroom and noticed that Reeva was not in bed. It was then that he realized she might have been in the bathroom. Panicked, he used a cricket bat to break down the door and found Reeva inside, fatally wounded. Pistorius said he tried to help Reeva by carrying her downstairs and calling for emergency assistance. He described being distraught and overcome with grief when he realized she had succumbed to her injuries. Audio evidence from neighbors and testimonies about Pistorius's temper complicated the narrative. While he maintained it was an accident, questions lingered. Why didn't he confirm Reeva's location before firing? Why were there signs of prior conflict? From a psychological perspective, there are many layers to this case. First, Pistorius's fear of vulnerability and dependency might have heightened his reaction. As a man who overcame physical limitations, the idea of being vulnerable, even in his own home, may have triggered a fight-or-flight response. However, reports of his past behavior suggest deeper issues. Pistorius was known to have a quick temper and a history of controlling behavior in relationships. These are often red flags for abusive dynamics. Reeva, on the other hand, was an advocate for empowerment, a stark contrast to the alleged control dynamics in their relationship. This contrast may have created a volatile environment. The trial of Oscar Pistorius was one of the most watched in history. Dubbed the trial of the century in South Africa, it captured international attention. Critics questioned why Pistorius didn't see where Reeva was before firing. If he believed she was asleep in bed, why didn't he make sure before assuming it was an intruder? Neighbors testified hearing raised voices from the home earlier that evening, suggesting there might have been a heated argument before the shooting. The bathroom door was locked, which raised questions about why Reeva would lock herself inside without communicating with Pistorius. Pistorius's trial began in March 2014 and captivated global audiences. His emotional outbursts and tearful apologies in court showcased a man grappling with the weight of his actions. Initially, Pistorius was convicted of culpable homicide, a charge similar to manslaughter, and sentenced to 5 years in prison. However, after appeals, the conviction was upgraded to murder, and his sentence was extended to 13 years in prison. The case also sparked debates about gender-based violence and the privilege of fame. Many questioned whether Pistorius's initial sentence was too lenient, given the gravity of the crime. As of December 2024, Oscar Pistorius resides with his uncle in Pretoria, South Africa, following his release on parole in January 2024 after serving nearly 9 years for the murder of Reeva Steenkamp. His parole conditions, effective until December 2029, include strict supervision and a prohibition on speaking to the media. Pistorius has been maintaining a low profile, volunteering at a local church, and reportedly dating a business management consultant. The Steenkamp family continues to grapple with the loss of Reeva. June Steenkamp, Reeva's mother, has expressed concerns regarding Pistorius's reported new relationship, warning the woman about his unresolved anger issues and advising caution. The family remains dedicated to honoring Reeva's memory through the Reeva Steenkamp Foundation, which advocates against gender-based violence and supports victims. For Reeva's family and friends, her death remains a profound loss. And for the world, her story is a reminder to look deeper into the dynamics of power, love, and conflict in relationships. Well, our time is up for today. If you enjoyed this episode and want to hear more true crime in less than 10 minutes, subscribe so you never miss an episode. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, keep questioning, keep analyzing, stay curious, and stay wise.